Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Relax, I Got This. And today we're going to start talking about a little bit about investing, and not just in the single family, buy a house, be a landlord, but in multifamily, which I feel like a lot of people think is out of reach for them. And so today we have Sean Thomson. He's a managing member of the Thompson Multifamily. And we're going to talk a little bit about how anybody can start investing in multifamily and those sorts of investments. So stay tuned.
A real estate transaction is potentially the largest investment we make in our lives. Whether you're buying and selling your personal home or investing in real estate, you need the knowledge to make the right decisions. Get ready. Robin is a Texas realtor and has the experience to give you the information you need to make the right decisions. Welcome to Relax, I Got This with your host, Robin McCoy.
Hi, everyone. Robin McCoy, Texas Realtor, and welcome to another episode of Relax, I Got This. And today we're talking about investing and being an investor, not just in single family, but in maybe multifamily or other larger funds that sometimes people think may be inaccessible to them. So today I have Sean Thomson, who is the managing member of the Thompson Multifamily and also Bridge Asset Management. And over the last decade, Sean has been perfecting the processes of scouting, acquiring, and investing in real estate. He considers the health of his investors, financially and personally, to be one of the most rewarding things that he does in pursuing financial freedom. So he has built a couple of companies that have not only do the investing, but also the managing of those investments. And I think that's an important kind of little marriage of things. So, Sean, welcome to the show and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Robin. I appreciate you having me on.
So, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this. So, what made younger Sean say, I need to be investing in multifamily? How did all that happen?
Well, that was that's kind of a later, I guess, epiphany. But I've always kind of wanted to create wealth for myself and my family. I guess almost all of us aspire to have financial freedom, right? None of
Hmm.
us want to wake up and go to work every day because we have to. We want to get up and go to work because it's something we love and want to do, right?
Right.
And so that's always been on my mind. And I always worked until I was really almost 40, trying to provide for my family, trying to be a good, just father, husband person, right?
Hmm.
And when I left my last job, I just said, "Look, I'm going to do something on my own. I want to build something bigger in my life, something bigger for my family." So I didn't really know exactly what that was going to be. I'd always loved real estate for some reason, and of course, in my 30s, I read that pivotal book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It talks about real estate investing as a vehicle for wealth.
Hmm.
And so I thought if I could do real estate, that'd be great. I always thought apartments were for, large hedge fund
Yeah.
guys and Wall Street guys. I didn't think a regular guy like me could even, break into that business. I thought it was just too big. And so I started with single family. And with single family, I always wanted income. My goal has always been monthly income. You want to have that income
Hmm.
stream coming in, and then you want to have those assets appreciating for yourself. So you're developing that wealth as well long term. And so that was our goal. And then I just never was able to get enough volume or momentum on my single family business to get to an income goal that I knew I was going to be happy with in the future. I had a great business. I was doing, my handful of deals every year and keeping a few
Hmm.
properties here and there. And we had a portfolio of rental properties. So it wasn't as though I was at a problem with my single family business. It just wasn't achieving the goals that I sought out for myself for long term. And I met someone that was doing syndications. They call them syndications. It's putting together a group of investors to go buy larger projects. It's essentially
Sure.
like a single family acquisition, except you're bringing on 100, other people. Everybody pulls their money together, and we go and buy these larger projects. And it's a greater scale, it's a greater volume of asset, and then everybody wins, right? So someone could, like you said earlier, someone could buy a single family house. They could spend $100,000 or whatever it is, go buy a single family house, run that investment themselves, and make money. You can do that, but in a syndication, you can give someone like me who has experience and and does this your $100,000, and we'll go buy a $10 million project,
Right.
right? And all of us, how many of our investors are in it, and all the GPs, we all win at the end of the day, just like you will with your single family investment.
Right.
So it's very similar. It's just a matter of scaling it up to a much larger capacity. And so I met someone that was doing that syndication model, heard their story, and I thought, well, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So I convinced him to show me how to do it, how he does it. He had an education part of his business. So I went through all of his programs, and then, we've spent the last a few years. I guess we've been doing it maybe 3.5. I don't know. I haven't looked back, but might be in our fourth year. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And so we spent the last, few years working on our multifamily syndication business. And along the way, we realized very early on that asset management, managing those investments, managing those assets, is the most critical seat that is in your business completely. So it's more important than the owner. It's more important than anybody else. Someone that can come in and manage those assets properly is critical. So we set out to be best in class in that particular component of our business.
Mhm.
And in that, we've kind of developed a business that we're still tinkering with now, but we're launching some of it. We developed a business where we can offer those services to other syndicators that do this business. So if you buy and
Okay.
sell real estate and you don't have a great capacity for asset management, we can help with that. So we're adding another third business now, but we have the acquisitions business, the asset management business, and we're going into some fund management now too.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Well, let me ask you this because I know, even as a real estate agent, for the first, I don't know how many years of my career, didn't understand this part of real estate investment.
right,
Again, you think, just like you said, you think that big apartment building is only for big corporations or somebody like that. Not that
right,
really a group of a whole bunch of people got together and bought a $10 million property,
right.
right? So how does that individual, I've got 100,000, I don't want to buy a house, I want to buy an apartment building. How does that work? How do they know that they can get in with somebody like you?
I guess where you would want to start if you said, "Hey, I want to invest in real estate." Everybody loves real estate. Everybody wants
Yeah.
to be like Donald Trump, and have these these big portfolios. But you can really take your $50,000 and invest it in real estate. The money that you have in Wall Street or in your IRAs, things like that, that can all be self-directed and utilized for real estate investments. I love real estate because I can touch it.
Yeah.
I can drive over to
Yeah.
my property and I can look at it. I can paint it. I can improve it. I can help operations. I can be active in controlling my destiny. Most everybody just kind of gives their money over to Wall Street and hopes that the Wall Street guys are going to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
And people invest with me just like they do with the Wall Street guys, except that you can call me on the phone. I'm
You gotta
accessible.
answer.
I'm not hiding in a tower in Wall Street. So, but it's the same thing. So you can take your investment income and put it into a syndication, and it appreciates. Our goal for our investments is to double capital every 5 years, right? So if you put 100,000 in, you should get $200,000 back, or roughly,
Yeah.
in 5 years, 3 to 7 years, somewhere in there. So our target is always 5 years. And with real estate, I mean, we're hitting a hard section right now with real estate, but it always sort of appreciates. The market has these big swings. Like you'll make all this money and then you'll lose half of it, 10 years later, and then it takes a while to recover. Real estate doesn't have that volatility. It's pretty consistent. And if you're buying right and operating right, it's really good. Where I would start with most people is starting to learn of what syndications are, what a good deal really looks like. And then the most critical thing, and what I tell people all the time is, I'm your biggest risk. So the person that's putting these deals together and running those deals, the one that's managing the asset, that's really the biggest hurdle or crippling, or the one thing that can go wrong really in multifamily real estate is the operator. You know, the deals are vetted by the banks, they're vetted by all kinds of people. By the time I get to a closing on an acquisition, the 12 people have beat this deal up to where, it's pretty
Pretty
well
solid.
solid, right?
Yeah.
But you can give the keys to the most beautiful car to the wrong driver and they're going to crash it,
Right. Right.
right? So you want to make sure the people you're investing with are, first of all, they see the world kind of like you do. They care about your investments. They're aligned in some sort of equal thought process just
Right.
in life in general and the way they invest, right? You want to make sure that you understand the person you're investing with and they understand you, right? So that I think that's step one.
Yeah.
And just make sure you're vetting them well to make sure that they just have the ability to do what you need them to do. We're pretty new to the business, but I think we're extremely good at what we do because we try to be, right. I don't care about having giant portfolios of assets. I only care about doing the best work that I can do every day. I don't judge myself based on how many millions of dollars I own, how many units I own. I judge myself on how happy my investors are, how much I'm contributing to their wealth and fortunes in the future. That's how I judge my success every day. And you want to find someone who's has that mentality and then also has the capability to run properties properly.
Yeah.
There was just a big foreclosure on 4 properties in Houston, and it was a syndicator that had $500 million under management. You would think if he gets to that level that he's
Yeah.
pretty good, but I guess something went wrong or whatever it was, and then they weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they lost 4 properties.
Wow.
So you want to make sure the people you're dealing with are not going to be in that position if you can. I mean, if there's a risk to everything,
Sure.
but you want to mitigate that as much as you can. And the sponsor or the people in my seat are the ones you want to kind of look out for the most.
Well, and anything can go wrong, right? Everything's
Right.
going fine, and then something happens, and so now the bills aren't being paid over here, just like anything else. So, but it is true. You're giving somebody your hard-earned money,
Right.
just like you would if you were taking it down the road to Edward Jones or Chase or any of those guys. You're trusting that they're going to invest it in the things that
Right.
are going to be true to you, and and obviously, hopefully, double at 5 years, right?
Right.
So
Right.
how do I become an investor? Do I have I mean, I see the words accredited investor. And some of the things that I've read about that is you have to have so much money, or you have to have invested X amount. So how does one get started if they're not an accredited investor?
Be the leader you know you can be. Build your professional network and access education that takes you where you want to go. We are women of all ages and backgrounds. You deserve national recognition and opportunities to build relationships with people you want to work and grow with. Hit the ground running with the Charisma chapter of the American Business Women's Association. Meetings each month from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday in Farmers Branch, Texas, and online. Come with us. Experience ABWA for yourself. Go to charisma.abwa.org to learn more.
So how does one get started if they're not an accredited investor?
Well, there's all kinds of SEC designations for what we're doing. So essentially, when I
Okay.
go to buy a property like this, we're creating what's called a security, right? So we're governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Okay.
And we can do what's called a 506B offering, which is accredited and non accredited investors, right? So you don't have
Okay.
to be an accredited investor. There's a 506C offering, which is accredited investors only. So you want to kind of maybe learn what those designations are for you specifically. But
Yeah.
the 506C or the accredited investor is someone who makes $200,000 a year as an individual, or $300,000 as a couple, and or they have $1 million of net worth, excluding your residence, your
Okay.
permanent residence. So if you have $1 million in, let's say, your IRA, your 401ks or whatever, that you probably are an accredited investor. If you have, if you make $250,000 a year, you're an accredited investor. So then you can invest in these either accredited or non-accredited investments as well.
Right.
If you're not an accredited investor, if you just have a $50,000 IRA or a $100,000 IRA and you want to put $25,000 towards real estate and take
Right.
it out of Wall Street, you can still do that. I can't really talk about,
Okay.
but we're building something. We're building
Okay.
products that people can invest in that situation.
Okay.
And we have offerings all the time that are in those situations as well. And most of the time, it's the smallest. The you can get in for as little as 25,000, 50,000, somewhere in there. There's also crowdfunding platforms as well. I can't think of any of the names. There's a few brand names on that people can invest $2,500 into these
Okay.
large syndications, right?
Yeah.
Just like you would is in the stock market. It's a multifamily property is essentially a business. You're buying a business when we acquire these things, and so someone can invest on a smaller scale, with a crowdfunding platform in those larger syndications like that. So there's a few options for people that want to participate in real estate as opposed to stock market, and have more control over where their money is allocated.
Right.
You can do that. If someone really wanted to learn more about those things, they can reach out to me on my website, of course, and
Okay.
I'm happy to jump on a call and help people with some resources. I can look those things up, whatever.
Because I just think about a lot of my clients, right? And they're in their forever home, right? They know they're in the place where they're going to raise their kids or things like that. But
Right.
they still want to have some investments so that when those kids are older, they can put them to college or they can do this or they can do that. And and I just know they don't know how to do it. They don't know that they can. They don't know, because it's just not something unless it's put in front of you,
Right.
that you know it's possible. And I'm like you. I was talking to my financial planner at Edward Jones, and we were talking about this real estate thing. And I said, what you do, it just is all over here. I can get in my car and I can drive to South Dallas and I can see that parking lot and I can see what's parked on it or that apartment building, like you said, and I can see that it exists.
Right.
And so sometimes that feels just more tangible for people.
Yeah. My real estate business, I've always outperformed any financial planners that I've talked to. Really, I most of the time when I sit down with a financial planner, they're just like, "Okay, I'll see you later." They don't even
Yeah.
they're like, "I can't outperform what you've got going on." So
Yeah.
the especially in like a position you're in, if you're a real estate agent, you're a real estate professional, so you have tax benefits above and beyond just your investment benefits as well. So if you put $100,000 into a syndication project, there's a good chance that you'll get 50, 60, maybe even $100,000 in tax depreciation in year one on that
Yeah.
investment, right? So you can take that against all your income, all your household income. If you're not a real estate professional, you can take that against all your passive income. So if you make money on, your real estate investments, whatever passive income you
Yeah.
have, you can take those depreciation credits against that. And like you said, the beauty of real estate and the reason a lot of people want to do it is there's the tax benefits, of course, but there's some, cash flow in an up when the market's going up, we pay cash flow every quarter. So you'll get a 6% cash flow or 8% cash flow on your investments plus your bonus on the sale of the property.
Right.
And then so you have cash flow component that's appealing. You have a cash out of profits when you sell, which is appealing. So there's a lot of ways you can make money with real estate. And a lot of people love that. The one downside to what we do is it is a long-term investment. You're you're
Right.
you're invested for the 5-year haul, right? So if it takes us 5 years or 7 years to sell that property, you're in it for the whole time. That's the one downside. So you want to make sure you're using money that you're not going to need for the next 5 years
Right.
at least. But the beauty is you can just park it, set it and forget it kind of thing.
Right. And let
If you're
you guys double it.
right. If you're working with a good operator, you don't have to worry about it. And we send monthly reports about how the property's doing to all of our investors. They have summaries on everything that's happening. If we break a sewer line, it's in my report every month. We let
Yeah.
you know, hey, this is the problems we're having. Here's the solutions and actions we're taking to fix them. Here's what they're going to cost. Here's how the property's performing. We give full reports on everything. So you're part of the ownership with us. Any syndication, you're part of the ownership. We just communicate all that really well with our investors. And so yeah, so people that want to have more control over their investments than just handing it over to Wall Street and seeing what happens. We kind of have the similar setup for syndications, but like you said, it's a tangible investment. You can see it. You can call me anytime and ask me a question about what's going on with the project. So you're sort of more in touch with where your money's allocated and how it's performing and what it's doing.
Well, and where are most of the properties that you buy? Are they in DFW or are you kind of nationwide?
Well, we can buy nationwide. We focus our most of our underwriting for acquisitions. Probably it's expanding right now, but probably 90% of what I underwrite is here in DFW. We will look at Kansas and a few other places and Georgia, Florida.
Mhm.
So we look at the Midwest, the Southwest a little bit, and then the Southeast is kind of our target zones. But for us, primarily, we're looking in Dallas. But you can find investments all over the country. Really,
Right.
I would avoid the coastal investments. The East Coast. Anything New York up there, anything California, Seattle, Oregon. They just they're not very landlord friendly areas, but
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. That people make lots of money out there and they do really well, but it is a lot of hassle to be an operator out there for sure.
Yeah. Well, and you know, we know, and regardless of what people want to think they say about the market and all of that, real estate, well, like you said, it doesn't drop like this. It did in 2008. That was a whole other ball game. There's not a bubble that's crashing right now, and rents continue to go up. So that means the cash flow into an apartment building continues to go up, and I just see those values are going up, rents are going up, inflation, all of it. So that's also what makes it a good place to park some money.
Yeah, and in multifamily, the difference I think most people in single family, this is a hard transition that they make mentally. Is your house is only going to be worth what the market says it's going to be worth.
Right.
So if your appraisal is $300,000, that's what your property's worth. In multifamily, it's we do an income valuation. It's not a comp valuation like you have in single family.
Right.
So if I can find ways to make the property make more money, the value goes up, and it goes up exponentially because we everything we value is against a cap rate. So if cap rates are going down or in our favor, our valuation growth is exponential as well. If we're increasing income through higher rents, additional income like laundry rooms or parking, reserve parking, things like that, if we're increasing those dollar values on the income monthly and keeping that money, our value of our property goes way up, right?
Yeah.
So even in a down market, like everybody's struggling. There's a lot of issues with the multifamily market right now. But we have a property that we're working with that our rents. We just raised our rents this year when all the rents are going down. Our rents are going to go up 22% in the last 6 months, and we're
Yeah.
continuing to raise more. The demand for housing units in this market are just continuing to go up. So
Mhm.
if you have a good project, a reasonable, affordable project in a good location, rents are still going way up. And we're driving value through painting the property, increasing the amenities inside or finishing out the interiors really nicely.
Right.
So
Right.
people want to live in these nice properties. So that's the beauty of real estate, is that you can come in, add value to the property, which adds value to your bottom line because people want to live there. The more people want to live there, the higher your rents can go,
Yep.
so on and so forth, right? So we're still able, even in a market that is tough. If you're looking at real estate on a national level, you're being misinformed,
Yes.
right? There,
Yes.
it really is a neighborhood by neighborhood
Yeah.
investment. When we do our investments, we look at, I look at what is it like across the street? What is it like it over here? What is it like? Because you
Yeah.
really live in this 3 mile bubble in real estate investing. All the stores, everything that's within 3 miles of that property, that's what drives your value. If you get beyond 3 miles, it doesn't
Doesn't.
matter. You can
Yeah.
have you can have the greatest stuff over here, and it won't affect your property, right? So
Yeah.
real estate's really a micro business, and if you're not analyzing it and looking at it from that perspective, and all the national statistics are their reference materials, and they're good for, like, I need to keep up with those things and see what matters. But really, you want to look at a micro level.
Yeah.
And so, you can still make money even in real estate times where it's tough. If you've got the right project and you're doing the right steps, you can still do okay and make your investors and yourself money.
So what questions, if somebody wanted to call you and just, learn a little bit more, what can I do? What questions should they ask of you or, one of your counterparts out there? Are you looking to buy or sell a home in the bustling DFW area? Look no further, because I am Robin McCoy, your trusted real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. For over 15 years, I've been helping buyers and sellers navigate the real estate market here in DFW. So whether you're looking for your dream home or aiming to sell your property for the best price, relax. I got this. As a seasoned professional, I'll guide you through the entire process, ensuring a smooth and stress-free experience. I understand that buying or selling a home can be a significant decision. That's why I pride myself on providing exceptional customer service. I'll be with you every step of the way, answering your questions and addressing your concerns. So why take a chance with just any real estate agent? Choose me, Robin McCoy, the professional who has proven my excellence in helping both buyers and sellers in the DFW area for over 15 years. Call me today at 214-226-3770 or visit my website at robinmccoyrealty.com. Let's make your DFW real estate dreams come true. Relax, I got this. What questions should they ask of you or, one of your counterparts out there?
Well, just stuff like we're talking about now, like,
Yeah.
how do I feel about your investments? Is asset management important to your organization? Do you have someone that's specifically assigned to those things? Do you want to just kind of get to know somebody? No one invests with me unless they know, like, and trust me.
Right.
And unlike Wall Street, people just give Wall Street their money. They have no clue who's handling their money every day. But
Sure
with
don't.
me, they need to know me, they need to like me, and they need to trust me. And I'm fine with that. I'm happy to talk to anybody. I kind of am what you see is what you get kind of person. And so you want to just see if there's a values alignment for the first. That's number one, I think. And like I said, we're pretty new to this space, but I've surrounded myself with people that have tons of experience. We've surrounded ourselves with operations, processes, and systems so that we know we can be the best in class at what we do. So we've tried very hard to build a business that is going to be here for generations. My daughter is
Yeah.
my partner. She's 24. And
Okay.
so when I make decisions in my business, it's not for me. I consider this her business, and I'm just laying the groundwork for her to have something successful down the road. So if I make a decision, it's a 50-year decision. It's not a 5 minutes from now decision.
Right.
I'm not a get rich quick guy. I'm in this for the long haul. So, you kind of want to just get to know your sponsors. I'm sure there's on the internet, there's a list of questions that people should ask me, but
Probably.
I don't know what they are.
You'll
I just
answer
kind of,
whatever somebody asks you.
yeah, if you
You
call and
know?
ask me, and our business too is it's transparent as well. So it's not transparent to anybody that's outside of our deals. But if you're in a deal of ours, I'll tell you what our conversations were like with our on-site team. We were just there at a property a couple of days ago. We had a conversation with our on-site person. We were looking at the roofs. We're looking at a few things. I'm all that's revealed to everybody in our business. We
Yeah.
consider everybody in any of our investments a partner of ours, so they have equal access to information that we have.
So
The beauty is
regardless
they
of
just
how
don't have
much
to.
they invested, whether they were a $20,000 investor or a $200,000 or a $2 million investor, they get the same information.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
still a partner. Whatever your share level is irrelevant. You still need to know what's going on. That investment to you is equally as important as anybody else's investment, and it's important to me. And so, we make sure that everybody has the information that they should have, and
Yeah.
we probably give people more. I talk to most of my investors, like I ask them, are you reading your reports and stuff? And the best answer I've gotten so far is like, I read about 80%. So they're,
I
they're
opened it up and I looked at it.
yeah, they're really getting more than they want probably from me, but we just think that's
That's a
critical
good
for
place
people to
to be.
understand what's going on, and it's an open book. If you're one of our partners, it's an open book for us.
Yeah.
So, and for me too, you just call me anytime, and I'm happy to answer questions. So.
Well, and that's just it. It's about coming from a contribution standpoint that I want to build wealth for you and your family as well as my own family. I mean, we're not,
Right.
and that being able to build wealth and help people achieve those goals, I think is huge. And giving everybody the opportunity to be a part of the game.
Yeah, and that's kind of what these syndications are. You can most people don't even know they exist, first of all.
Right.
So that's
Yes.
the biggest problem.
True.
I was even
Yeah.
in real estate as an investor, and I still didn't know that these existed. And so once you figure that out, like you said, getting into it and contributing and having your friends and family invest with you. And, the other thing a lot of our investors like is they can point to that building when they drive by and say, I own that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's kind of a fun thing for people to do. And then, like you said, that's one of our core tenets in our business is that we want to create, first thing we want to do is create communities that people feel safe to raise their family and live their life, and that's one of our core tenets. And then, secondly, we want to make sure that our investors are achieving their financial goals, and we're doing things properly to make sure that their capital, first of all, is preserved and
Mhm.
then multiplied. Right? Those are the two things are
Preserve and multiply.
right. And so, those things are critical for us, and then I make my family's wealth, better as well because of the group that I have around me, of the people that invest with us
Yeah.
and in us. So yeah, it's a very give and take fluid system. It's really kind of nice.
Well, let me ask you this as we kind of wrap up here a little bit. We've talked about a lot of just kind of little different things, and it sounds like it would take, a couple of hours to really talk about in depth. But what is something that you would like to get across to people, not only about just investing in things like multifamily, but working with you and your company? What would you like them to know?
Well, I would not necessarily about us, but I would just suggest to people that, hey, there's opportunities out there to invest in something other than Wall Street mutual funds. There's, all kinds of alternative investments that you can do, and you can self-direct your retirement accounts. Even if you don't do all of them, you can do a portion of your retirement accounts self-directed, and you can take charge of your future. Your financial future can be more in your control. I think most people feel out of control
Hmm.
with their mutual funds or their IRAs, and they're just, in these mutual fund accounts, and it just does what it does, right? But people can invest in all kinds of real estate. They can buy single family homes in their real estate accounts and have rental properties. They can buy notes that are secured by real estate, in their IRAs. There's a lot of things you can do if you self-direct some of your funds. So I would suggest to most people, if you're just kind of passing the buck onto Wall Street, take some control of your financial future, take some control of your financial decisions if you want to. I mean, some people, they don't want to do that, but I
Yeah.
I like to be in control of my financial future. My money, it's I'm the one that cares the most about it. I've had an investment for, I don't know, it's 35 years. I got this thing when I was a young guy for one of my employers. I think I contributed like $1,200 to it. It's 35 years later, it's worth $3,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had taken that 35, or no, I contributed 3,000, or 3,000 is now worth 3,500, right? It's gone up and down. If I had taken my 3,000 and put it into real estate, it'd be worth 400,000 now,
Yeah.
right? So if you just
Yeah.
take control of some of your, it doesn't have to be big. Just take control of some of your financial future. You can make a bigger difference in your family's future financially. And so I would encourage everybody to maybe consider doing that. So look into self-directed IRAs. There's Quest, Equity Trust. There's a number of self-directed companies, custodians that can help you with that. And then look for investments that speak to you. If you want a hands-off approach, syndications are great. You want to find a
Yeah.
great syndicator that you can know, like, and trust and work with. That's step one. Maybe someone wants to be hands-on, and then they can do single family investments, and you can help them find real estate investments through your business. And so I would just encourage people to just capture more responsibility for their own
Yeah.
financial future. That would be my suggestion, just as a fundamental life, thing. But and then if you do need help, there's all kinds of resources. It doesn't have to be me. There's all kinds of resources online. You can go to my website. We have I have podcasts on there. We have blog posts. We have all kinds of educational materials. One of our primary goals is to educate people on things, and you can get started there, and just, it'll kind of, you'll get into those rabbit holes of the internet, right? And you'll
Yeah.
start learning things. And I would just encourage people to kind of spend some time doing that. And then if you can find, guys like me are hard to find, is the problem. We do podcasts every now and then, but most of my time isn't spent out telling
Talking
people
about
about
what you
this.
do.
Yeah, it's spent doing the business. And we do podcasts when we can, just to let people know that this is a possibility. But
And you exist.
right. But, so if you can find someone like me, or, if I'm not your guy, I'm happy to point out 100. I have 100 friends that do this. So, find someone that you'd like, and that can help educate you on what you're doing.
That's huge right there. And we'll have all of Sean's information, website, phone numbers, emails, all that stuff in the show notes for you so that you can find him and take him up on that offer of just answering some of those questions, because I know
Yeah.
they're out there. And like you said, most people don't even know that syndication exists.
Right.
And that's a great way to start getting into, this form of real estate investing.
Yeah, everybody wants to be a real estate investor, I think. I mean, everybody I
Yeah.
talk to is like, "Oh, I wish I could do that." And really, it's not that hard. If it doesn't take everything you have. You can invest a little bit of capital with someone like me, and you can get started, and you can start learning the process that way. It's not as hard as everybody makes it out to be.
Because it's big and scary and you don't know what it is.
It is big and
And
scary, and the business is it's super simple to understand. We buy a property, we make it better, we sell it for more money. Really, that's the essence of
that's
the
it,
business.
ABC.
Right, but executing on that is a 5-year plan that takes a lot of details, a
Yeah.
lot of people. There's 1,000 things that can go wrong. So it's a very complex business, but in its essence, it's simple, right? So,
It's simple.
you just gotta make it work. But
So, all right. Well, thanks, Sean. I appreciate you being here today. And like I said, we're going to have all of his information in the show notes so people can reach out to you. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Relax, I Got This. I'm Robin McCoy, a Texas Realtor. Please hit that subscribe button. And if we can help you in the future, let us know. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for Relax, I Got This with Texas Realtor Robin McCoy. Check out all the show notes for contact information on Robin and our guests and to access your free buyer and seller guides. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a conversation. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Relax, I Got This with Robin McCoy.